Welcome to the Boys Only Cast, the only podcast that makes you question if reality is actually reality or just a simulation. I'm
This is
Devin.
the only podcast that does that.
Yep.
Is that right?
Because
the
you're
only
listening to it and you
podcast.
go, why am I listening to this? Am I forced in some kind of simulation?
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm Devin. I've got Curtis
That's me.
and Mikey.
Hello.
Whoa, he said hello, not shalom. Oh, man. He just went off
He's
script.
changing it up.
He went
Oh,
off
did I
script.
actually?
Oh, my God. He went off
Did-
script.
What did I say before?
You've said shalom.
Oh, every time?
I don't know. You went off script.
We
I
are
had-
I just
supposed
know
to
last-
have
I know last
signature
week I did it.
phrases.
I gave you the
How else-
pre-read.
Okay.
How else are we supposed to make shirts?
I
if
know
we
this
don't
is
have
all
signature
scripted.
phrases?
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
I'm calling your mother and telling her what you're doing. All right. Anyways, the Boys Only Cast goes live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Give us ratings or tweet us on Twitter at the Boys Only Fort and let us know how you think about how stupid we are. I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
Tell me your favorite color,
Yeah.
but your fifth favorite color, actually, not your first favorite.
And-
And then I'll guess your first favorite given your fifth favorite choice.
And tell us why your fifth favorite is green.
Oh, well, you're already pre-planting an opinion.
I already know. I know everyone's fifth favorite color is green.
Oh, shit. I didn't know you had some kind of ability like that.
I'm a magician. This is a
Right.
simulation, by the way, so of course I know.
If it's a simulation, then why can't I simulate a better life?
Because you're not in control of the simulation,
Oh, okay.
obviously.
I guess that makes sense.
Fucking doesn't understand how simulations works. All right, Mikey, you want to start us off with something? You got a danky little topic for us? Is he even here? Uh-oh. Good start. All right, Curtis, what do you want to talk about?
Mikey's icon's going.
Okay, sorry. I apologize. I had to explain my shopping list. And in my writing.
God damn it.
Because apparently I can't write English.
Can't speak
But,
it either.
okay. So I've been thinking something over like this past week, especially with with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, the remaster coming out. Like we've been kind of going through a way in gaming like where we've had like so many like remakes and remasters, like, and it kind of makes you wonder like have we passed like the peak in gaming? Because like think about there's been like no like huge blockbuster hit in like the few recent years. Like nothing like like COD, like MW 1 and 2, you know?
Fortnite.
Yeah,
Well, I mean like more story-driven single-player games, you know? Like everything's just
Okay.
multiplayer.
okay. Well, you should have
Well,
said that because
yeah.
you said there's been no
Well-
big games. And it's like there's been Fortnite, like all the
yeah, I
battle
should've read that.
royales have been huge.
Well, I'm reading off a sticky note, and I wrote the sticky note.
No, I get what you mean. All the more modern games are all multiplayer games instead
Yeah,
of all
and
these kind of
just-
story or single player games that used to be really huge before.
And like yeah, like there's like nothing like like I don't know how to explain it. But it seems like the games that come out are so like few, like the big games are so few and far between.
Well-
yeah, like we haven't had like
versus, like, we've had-
massive
Yeah,
title, like
on the
Halo 3
360
or
we've had
something.
game after game, like almost every couple
Yeah.
months there'd be a new game.
Be-
That's huge.
Because you got to think about it. Everyone has their like, I don't want to say nostalgia because like, I don't know. It hasn't been that fucking long.
Well, it's
But
definitely
everyone,
nostalgia. Definitely. Like
But I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about it now, like everyone who played these games were probably in middle school and high school, and that was what 10, 20 years ago.
but no,
So like now they're adults, like now they have children, and they're playing these games in their spare time.
yeah, but no. Think about it this way too, though. It's like there's games like my best example for it right now would be Final Fantasy VII. I've heard for so long that it's such an amazing game, whatever, but the game looks like absolute shit in like just because how old it is.
Well,
Like
a lot of PS1 games are pretty much like if you played them when you were a kid, you could forgive the graphics and controls, so you have a lot of sentiment for them. But if you tried to get into a lot of those games now, it'd be a lot more difficult.
well, even
So,
then, it's
yeah,
like
having like the remaster is nice if you never played the old game, because you're like, oh, people have talked about that. Now I can play the much better looking.
well,
and
that's what I mean.
revamped
It's like
version.
when I hear all
Yeah.
these like good games, and it's like, okay, I'll go look into it, and I see it was like early 2000. I'm like, okay, well, fucking those games
But does
play
that-
like dog shit.
But like, does that mean like we're just kind of like in a creative lull in
Well,
gaming? Because like,
Kind of, and it's
like how many great games from that time, like even like just based off remasters.
it's
like,
not
and
even
games that haven't been.
it's not even great games. It's the fact of some game got remastered. What we've been in the remastered age for like 6 years now because like next gen
Yeah.
consoles have been out for about 6-7 years. Where we're so deep into that now that they released a remaster and it sold fucking amazing. So everyone's just like, well, there's no point in making new games when we can just rehash old games and make the same amount of fucking money.
So like exactly, pretty much, is it gonna be cyclical? Are we gonna like in another 10 years are we gonna get remasters of Xbox One games?
No, I don't.
Assassin's
That's a-
Creed
that's a
Odyssey,
funny
are we gonna
point.
get that? Halo 5, are we gonna get a remaster of that? GTA 5, are we gonna get a remaster of
No,
that?
GTA 5 most likely won't remaster. They'll
Do you think we'll get a GTA 4 remaster?
No, they just ported GTA 4 not too long ago.
So you don't. Okay.
No, they didn't. Rockstar has too much. They're dealing with too much about making new games and keeping their current games fresh right now. Like it's the fact of to retexture a game
Well-
that's already been made is 10 times easier and less resources, less cost.
Well, I mean, like, still, like a company like Rockstar, surely they have like multiple offices. They have partnerships with other offices. Surely they could contract like this workout, like make high res models or like do this, like contract
But-
it out almost in a way.
I don't know how Rockstar completely works, but like I think their offices work on different games. I think I'm
Yeah,
not
no.
100% sure with Rock, but no, what I mean is
But like,
they're focused on making new fucking games because they know people are gonna buy their new games.
yeah.
It's the fact of like a company deciding to make a new IP or just remastering an old IP. It's like we can spend $500 million making a new game, or we can spend like $100 million and make just as much money.
But like GTA 4 even was a record-breaking sale.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wasn't it? It made like sold 6 million copies or something like that.
Yep.
If they remastered it, they would probably still sell like not as many, obviously, but they'd probably sell like even like 1 million copies.
But
at
see,
least.
they don't have to remaster it. They can just port it, like they did. It got like you could do backwards compatibility where you would put like the Xbox disc into an Xbox One.
but it's
then
like
they
what
also
Curtis is saying, like
No,
people,
but
sometimes
listen
people want
to
like
me.
updated graphics.
Yeah, I know, but
No.
they're not going to do it. Not everyone's going to do it. Rockstar knows that they just put a new game in the series. It's going to make money, and all they have to do is just keep porting their current game to the next generation until that new game releases. Rockstar's completely different because Rockstar fucking puts so much work into their fucking games, unlike a lot of other companies, to be honest.
Or
Well,
well, I
it-
mean, like
it's-
when you think of it. Sorry for cutting you off, Curtis.
No.
But GTA 5, based in Los Santos, San
Mhm.
Andreas was Los Santos. So in a way, you could say it's like a spiritual successor, kind of, to like that universe. Like specifically,
I mean, they're all
or am I?
technically.
No, I'm thinking San Andreas. Wait, where is it? What the fuck am I
San Andreas is Yeah, it's same place because Grove
Oh,
Street's in GTA 5. But
yeah.
it's all
So,
technically all one thing because if you think about it, in GTA 5, there's a
but
what are they called? In
you could
GTA
tell
5, there's
Rockstar
stranger. I'm
was
gonna fucking
okay.
no,
My
I'm just trying to say something. If you're saying GTA 5 is in the same kind of universe as San Andreas because they're in the same place, GTA 5, Packy from GTA 4 is in it.
yes, I know.
So
It's the same. It is the same universe. I mean,
yeah,
like, I meant to more say they're they're basing it off nostalgia because San Andreas was like such a huge game for like a lot of people,
yeah,
right? So like by reusing that setting, especially in like the era where like remasters and like remakes are such a huge thing, obviously it's gonna grab a lot of people's attention, saying like, oh, I want to revisit this place I played as like and explore this place that I spent so many hours in as a kid.
but
Well, nostalgia
GTA
is the most
5,
powerful selling factor
yeah,
to anything ever, and it always is a good indication of a franchise if they're completely bankrupt and done creatively. If they tap into nostalgia, like the Sonic franchise, having titles like Sonic Generations, which was an awesome game, and Sonic Mania was awesome, but both games rely on old games because Sega knows that every time they make a Sonic game now, it fucking sucks. So when they make stuff like Generations and Mania, it shows that the only thing they can tap into is that nostalgia
yeah.
and trying to recreate the old games in a better or more advanced way than they could before. So when you see that in any franchise, and like the most recent Halo game when they had the trailers and it was like, look, it looks like the old games, not like those last two, it really shows that any franchise has stopped moving forward and really has nothing left to say when they just tap into nostalgia and shit like that to sell it.
Yeah, what Sonic needs is, I don't want to. Sonic needs like a Mario Maker.
It needs a new character
Sonic
model.
needs something.
It needs a new
Well-
original character model.
Yeah, definitely.
But like,
I mean, like
Sonic needs
again,
Mario
like-
Maker, like a Mario
'cause
Maker
you
style.
could do a lot. You could do a lot with that, creating levels and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and
Well,
try to make them all
like,
aerodynamic.
Mario
Even if they
Maker?
started, they could start off with something like just release the original game, same physics, just with maybe slightly cleaner graphics. Still kind of go for a similar art style though.
Well, on Sonic Mania, they went with the original design, so it's basically like an HD version of a Genesis game, and they took old levels and made them a little more advanced, and they added new levels that were very interesting that looked like they could have been in the old games. So honestly, something like that is really the only place where the Sonic franchise can go and make something good. Because they've pretty much fucked up every single 3D game except for Sonic Generations, and some parts of Sonic Unleashed were pretty good as well.
Platformers don't have longevity anymore.
Oh no,
It's-
no one. They're not as popular.
Yeah,
as they
so
were.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like if they want to revive Sonic for a little bit more, instead of milking it for a fucking movie, fucking make a Mario Maker clone. It
Well, if
probably
they
won't
made
do as good,
something-
but like
If they made something like that, it'd be a lot more interesting for sure to show that
Well-
they could do something different with it.
that's what really like. I swear Mario Maker and Mario Maker 2 have to have had more sales than the most recent Mario games.
Well, and games like that do, like I say, they
Yeah.
have more longevity because there could be an infinite amount of levels made, and people can always keep making new stuff and stuff like that. So it's really a genius game when you think about it.
Yeah, and
Something like that.
and
is a really
they-
smart idea.
they re-released this is how shitty they are at making another Mario. They re-released the Wii U version, calling it like, what is it? It's like
Oh.
fuck. I'm trying to figure this out on my head. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
Oh, that's right.
And it
It's
was on
called
the
US
Switch.
and the Switch.
Yeah.
Well, Nintendo seems to be the worst for that, where they just put games from the Wii U on the Switch, but released them as like new games.
Give me
But they were the exact same as like if you already re-releasing games that are on the last system, that's kind of shitty. I mean,
Give me
Already.
high textured, super over HD'd fucking Super Mario 64.
sure. I mean, that
I
would
wouldn't
be
play it.
nice. There's
Wouldn't play.
there's a lot of clinky elements. I broke out my Nintendo 64 last week, so I was playing a little bit, and yeah, there's a lot of really clunky elements to Mario 64. It's never a game that I could get too into. I never played it when I was a kid or anything, so I'm not attached to it.
The game is
And
so
even
broken.
like when you try to jump on enemies, that's one of the hardest things to do in that game, because of you have to like line yourself up so perfectly, and
Well,
there's so many elements.
um,
But I mean, for an early 3D game, like it's not that
Oh, yeah.
bad. It's better than.
have you
other
seen the
ones at the
thing
time.
though? It wasn't optimized for North America. There's
No, I
there's a
haven't.
thing with coding with like the language they used where the debugging mode, if you set it to like a level 2 debug, it runs almost perfectly in like the Japanese cartridges.
Yeah.
They have it set to a 0 debug on the NA version. So that's why the game runs so clunky. Like when
Oh,
it drops
really? Okay.
frames.
Yeah.
I watched a video on that a couple weeks ago.
And yeah, if you want to talk about nostalgia, the fact that people can still say stuff like GoldenEye is a great game, but then you try to play a fucking game, forget about
Ugh.
it. The only way you can play GoldenEye is if you played it like when you were a kid and you play it now. It's a perfect
Ev-
example of games like that where if you say GoldenEye, people are like, "Oh, that game's fucking awesome." And if they made like the HD remastered GoldenEye, people would like
Well,
shit themselves.
There's GoldenEye Source.
oh,
It's like
what's
the
that?
PC version that they made.
It's official?
No, it's not official.
Oh,
But
okay.
it plays. No, go back and play those N64 like shooters. They're bad.
Shooters are bad.
They are
Although
bad.
there are still some good games like F-Zero X is a very smooth racing game on the N64. It plays amazingly still, especially compared to some like Cruising USA and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They're a little more wacky. But F-Zero X that game's fucking
It's-
awesome.
A lot of the games that I used to play like on N64 and all that, I don't want to, because the N64 controls are just
Well,
weird.
I love it because with the N64 you get a grip that you don't get on any other controller.
Yeah, but
I do love that grip because you get when you hold the middle prong, you get the other prong against
But-
your hands, so it's kind of resting.
but
And when
now
you
I'm
play
so
games like
used to-
Star Fox, it works really nicely.
yeah, but now I'm so used to like just the 2 prongs on the sides. If I have to go back and
Oh,
hold
yeah.
a controller like that, it's gonna feel so fucking weird. It's just like,
That's why I like it though. It's the same with the NES controller. Like it's really a shit. The NES controller is garbage. It's a rectangle, but I like it because it's a different experience, you know. And that's why I like to have the systems and play those games on the systems because it's. I break them out if I just want something different, you know.
the SNES controller is something about it. I don't. It's not like a great. It's a small controller, but like
Yeah.
it was
Well, it's
perfection
definitely,
for the time.
better. Oh, you got the shoulder buttons. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I-
pretty high tech
I feel
compared to
it's
the
perfect.
Genesis controller, and it's 3 buttons.
God, old video games are just. I don't know. I don't like the fact that things are being remastered all the time because it's like,
Well, no, it's true. It's like what Mikey says. It shows that there's a lack of creativity. It's the same thing with remaking movies and stuff like that. It's a bad sign if people are getting excited about either sequels, things in the same universe, or remakes because it's
remaking.
none of those are new and original ideas to get excited
Yeah,
about.
but remaking a movie takes a lot more than remastering a video game.
Oh, for sure. But it shows you they're taking something that's already
Yeah.
established that people already have an attachment to, and that kind of already sells itself in a lot of cases.
That's why I think old movies need to be remade, but in like TV show format kind of thing. Like not all movies, some
Well,
do.
I mean, it depends. You couldn't remake like The Godfather, no fucking
No,
way.
no.
And
But like
you,
I'm super biased towards Westworld because obviously I'm watching Westworld right now. But
yeah.
like if I tried to watch the old Westworld shit, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Okay, I mean, there's certainly some stuff that's held up better than others, and there's some stuff you could watch. Maybe the ideas are really good, but the execution at the time is not great.
Yeah, But-
so
but
you can
also-
kind of view it as like lost potential.
You take it from an old movie and stretch it out into like this. As long as I guess it ends up being actually good.
Well, I mean, you could do that with a lot of
Yeah.
series. I mean, even though I said Godfather, you could make Godfather into a TV series for sure. There's a lot you can expand on or something like
I don't know.
that.
Something with Godfather, I can go back and watch that. Like, I have no problem watching that. It's just something about that movie in itself. It was
Oh, it's
It's
an
good.
absolute masterpiece. I mean, it's fucking incredible.
Okay, I have a few points on that, but I was waiting for you guys
I
to
was-
finish, but you guys kept carrying on.
I was
Back
gonna
to
say
GTA,
one thing.
I'm sorry.
I just want to say one thing. Okay, you can go back to it. I just want to say one thing. Think about how hard it is to make a new IP versus they just remastered Modern Warfare 2 and all they did was make it look better. How little did that cost? And I think they're charging full price for it, isn't it? Or it's like
That's ridiculous.
it might be less
but-
because it's only campaign.
I mean, well, we'll let Mikey go. Let Mikey go.
I'm allowed to go this time, for real?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just say this, and then we go back to the movies. Pretty much the rumors, like for GTA, are pretty much the locations are gonna be Vice City. So it's kind of heavily playing on like GTA 3 or GTA Vice City. Where was GTA 3 located? I don't remember, but
The shit crack
G-
of nowhere.
yeah, but GTA Vice City. So they're obviously heavily playing on that nostalgia, obviously, and they're probably gonna base trailers saying like, "Oh, it's gonna be just like good old times in Vice City." So after Vice City, are they gonna do the same thing with Liberty City on like next generation console? Are they gonna try to make like Liberty City nostalgic for some people?
Well, maybe it's the fact of they want to keep making their worlds so much bigger, but they're also sticking to America. There's only so many big American cities you can choose from.
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it seems like they're so caught up, kind of like in replicating the past. They're not really experimenting with the new environments.
Well, that's actually the driver games were super good for bringing new environments because in those games you would get the American level like Chicago and whatever LA and stuff, but then you'd get levels in like Turkey and France and Brazil and like all these different places on different locations in those games. Even though the worlds were small, they still gave you some variety, like
Mhm.
different cars, different settings and looks and everything in
It-
those games.
GTA's always been about just like they've always just wanted to make bigger areas, because remember, like, every GTA that's come out since San Andreas has been like, it's this much bigger than the last game, it's this much bigger than this game, and all that. Like, that's, for whatever reason, that's the big highlight of GTA, but then they still set it in the same places. If they went with Grand Theft Auto and just said fuck it and made their own thing, kind of like Red Dead Redemption, they it's not really set in an area. It's set in
Like-
just Wild West, so they can make it whatever they
like
want.
it's set like in a time and a region. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, and it does. They're not following, like, they're not saying like, oh yeah, this is like Eastern America. They're saying like, this is just
Right.
Wild West. Like, there you fucking
It
go.
doesn't have to be true to life.
Yeah.
They could add a lot of interesting elements without having to make it exactly modeled off a certain city. Yeah.
That's where it's like Red Dead Redemption. It's like you can have the open world shit. I feel like GTA's open world stuff doesn't compare because GTA really has to be based off a story. I feel like at this point it's less about shoot and kill everyone, like everyone who played San Andreas and all that. I could be wrong though. I don't know.
I never really personally got into any of the GTA games. I'm not a fan myself, so I don't really know. but
I grew up with San Andreas and Liberty City Stories on the PSP.
oh man, there we go.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Oh fuck yeah.
Stay on
But no, I think to kind of go what I was saying, when you have the big titles that people are getting excited for, and it's all remakes or retreads of stuff, that is a bad sign. because naturally it's all these companies not wanting to take risks with new ideas, and maybe people not necessarily being open to new ideas either in mass, like the general
Yeah.
public and stuff.
I mean,
Who ultimately decide what gets made with their money,
and it's stuff like when new IPs are coming around, it's like Cyberpunk 2077. How many years has that been in production?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's
then
what.
And think of how many of these things have been massive letdowns, like No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Like there's a fuck
Well,
ton of hype.
To be
around
fair,
that
like No
game.
Man's Sky, like now it's like a respectable game.
But
Yeah,
way
well,
too
for
late.
sure now it is,
Yeah.
but like it's too late because it should have been that right away, and then it could have, like
They-
it would have
they
had a lot of
promised too
better
big.
standing.
Yeah, like
yeah,
they should have done like that, like the alpha release and then beta, and then now
yeah.
they're like a complete game.
that's the problem I have with games nowadays. Is number one, not releasing a complete game.
Oh
And
yeah, like how
number
they do it in
two,
stages.
and that's what I always say. This is kind of the worst era of gaming because they'll just give you something that's fucked up right off the bat just to rush it out for a release day,
Yeah.
and then
But-
not until way later on do you actually get the good game.
But I do like it though. Like it does allow developers to like offer like the product at a cheaper price. Like it's
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean-
you could support us earlier by like paying for like a portion.
Er-
Like wasn't Minecraft
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah,
too?
early access is
well, that's good. That's
well,
stuff like that.
no, early access is a cesspool of shit. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. Everything on Steam now is early access. It's you see some shitty indie game that it probably has like 20 minutes of gameplay. They're like, oh, it's
Oh.
early access, but it's also $25.
See, I don't.
Well,
I
that's
don't really,
also
I don't
Steam
really.
too.
I don't know this as well. Like I don't go on
Xbox is
Steam
gonna
or
go
anything.
that way soon.
But I thought you guys meant more like they released like a beta of a game or something.
Well,
like
that's
that.
what early access is supposed to be.
Yeah, theoretically, it's a great
Mhm.
idea because people can play it and point out bugs and shit like
Yeah.
that. Stuff to improve before they come
Like
out, but-
it's good for like indie developers like who don't really have like a lot of capital who want to like work on their passion projects.
right.
It when I was saying like how new IPs are flops. Does anyone remember Recore?
Yeah.
Is that like a dinosaur game or something?
No, it was an Xbox One original
Yeah.
that like they tried to hype it up, make it seem like it was supposed to be like a AAA title. Then news came out that it was only like priced at $50 or something.
Oh.
And at the time, like games are like this is Canadian, I think too. At
Yeah.
the time, games were like
$80.
$69.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh fuck.
they went up again. Like this was like back when they first Xbox One was
Yeah.
first coming out.
Your games are
Like
$80 for us now.
Yeah, like they were hyping it up like to be a huge game. Even like the trailers like actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But like the gameplay, it looked super stiff and awkward and just
It-
like an unfinished game.
I remember watching the E3 announcement for it, which I looked it up. It was 2015 E3. It was announced, and I was like right hyped for it. I can't remember why. And
The
it came
E3
out.
trailer was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it came out, and its ratings at right now 6 out of 10 on Steam, 45% on PC Gamer, 6 out of 10 on GameSpot.
Oh.
So like a mediocre game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's on. I mean, to be fair, you say it's an Xbox original, and I immediately go, "Well, yeah, Xbox doesn't really have any good exclusives." Like,
Yeah, like Xbox shit the bed with like Xbox One.
I want to get a PlayStation for the reason of like Detroit Become Human, Until Dawn,
Spider-Man was fucking
Spider-Man, yeah,
Last of Us.
yeah, Last of Us. I might. I think I have. I don't know where my Last of Us is.
It's like I kind of say like, oh yeah, if I got a PlayStation 4, I played all the time. But it's like I barely play my Xbox One. I barely even play like any real games on my PC.
I'm actually.
I'm like watching Netflix most of the time, just chilling.
I'm actually installing some games on my Xbox right now because I want to play games, but also I'm considering getting back to streaming. So at the same time, it's like that. But even if I don't, I just want to play different games.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to beat a game or just to actually like want to play something besides.
It's hard
just, like,
being a gamer.
No, I didn't even say that. I just saying.
For-
Usually when I play games, I just play something shitty like Call of Duty or whatever. You know, like I don't actually
Yeah.
play like a
Like just like
game
something
throughout.
mindless.
Yeah, something mindless I can listen to a podcast or a record to.
Yeah, something
You know,
something to distract you.
For
you know, like I did enjoy Doom Eternal. I played through that game and it was pretty fun. And actually, it's funny. It was a lot of platforming in that game. That game was like 25% first-person platformer, which was quite unexpected, but it was a very fun game still.
yeah,
There's so many games that like I start, but like I never actually like finish. Like
Yeah,
I
same
started
here.
Outer Worlds. Like it seems fun.
it's kind of slow
Seems like
to
a-
start.
Yeah, but like I
Right.
got distracted. I took off
Yeah.
and I just started fucking up NPCs. Like
And
that's
I
that's
find
kind of like what I wanted to do in that game. That's what I was expecting.
right.
Just to fuck
I
up
find-
NPCs.
I don't play.
With a lot of games, like I'll get started and then I'll like it and then I'll drop it and I never go back. Like God of War, I bought God of War PS4 when it came out, like day it came out. I was like, okay, this game's gonna be pretty cool, I guess. And I played it and I was like, okay, it's good. And now it's just been sitting there and I probably only got like 2 hours into it, and I just feel like, you know, it's too late now. or
Boy.
something. I do that with games so often.
Have you seen the Easter egg for God of War? Where
I don't know which.
he's like killing some guy, and I guess he throws him off a cliff, like after he's dead.
Yeah.
And people found or made a free cam mod for it, and they fly around. And after he falls off the screen, the model just rearranges and it flips off the screen.
Oh,
The guy's just sitting there
that's
flipping you
pretty
off.
amusing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but
yeah.
like for other video games, I don't think I haven't played anything else since I stopped streaming before, because that was how I played other games. It was like I didn't even try to do, or I guess I just try and I want to make content when I play other games, but I just don't feel like doing it.
Right. Yeah. And when you stream, you're probably more compelled to play different things.
Yeah, now I just play
Stuff like
RuneScape and racing games.
that.
Yeah, like
I like to.
sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
No, you.
Okay, no, I was saying I like to play games that engage my brain, and for me, those will be like NES games. So even though I got the
Wii Fit.
Wii Fit, yeah, that really
Wii Sp-
engages, and Brain
Wii
Age
Sports
for the
Resort.
DS. Yeah. Sonic and Mario at the Winter Olympics. That's the one.
Oh.
I break out the Wii Fit, play that, and I really get going.
Disgusting.
But no, I was saying like I like to play like NES games and stuff because there's a little more concentration, or just having to use my brain a little more with some of those games because they're a little more difficult. And even though they're shorter games, they're hard to get through, like Gunsmoke and
Batman.
Like
Captain Skyhawk.
the
Batman-
the
Batman's
the
fun,
most
yeah.
recent game I've been playing is Jedi Fallen Order. Like the game's tough. I'm at like what I presume is the final boss.
Oh,
It's
are you
like
still stuck.
yeah, I'm stuck on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just like I'm not used to this type of game. Like I don't normally play this style. Like
Is it
it's more
Dark
like those
Souls?
like kind of yeah, like
Yeah.
where like blocking, parrying,
Yeah.
rolling, dodging is yeah, like timing your attacks and like kind of like waiting. It's like I don't normally play that type of game, so like it's kind of a challenge for me.
Yeah, it's a little more involved because it's not just mashing buttons. like, you
Yeah,
gotta actually
which
think
is
about
kind of like
you're
what I
doing.
like to do. Like I just like to like go on the
Yeah.
offense. I don't normally like just
You'd
do
like
defense.
you'd like DBZ Kakarot. You can either play it like a
You
legit
just
fighting
fuck
game or
things
just
up.
button mash like fucking hardcore.
It sounds like Dragon Ball Z.
But I don't like super button mashers too.
You don't have to. You don't really have to mash that much.
Like I like games with like good clean combos that are like satisfying.
Oh, like when you
Street Fighter.
DDS Gmall switch in OSR, bringing in my one RuneScape reference. That's it.
Venja D-Claw.
Curtis knows what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
I know exactly what you guys are talking about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Nightmare RH, best PKer.
Buddy, like, tell me about it.
Yeah, fucking Rangers, hippie Rangers, Curtis.
Brings me back.
I don't know what you guys
Brings
are
me back to
talking
high
about.
school.
God,
God.
yeah, that's
High
that's
school was a
literally
wild
like-
time. Fuck.
That's like 2010 RuneScape videos.
Fuck,
Oh,
man. High school. Fuck. High school was wild, actually.
Wild. I wouldn't call it wild.
Yeah, it was
Like-
wild, all that shit we did.
We
No, I mean,
didn't
it was
do
just-
anything crazy.
That was the
That's
joke.
what I mean. Like it was so wild that it was actually like boring and unentertaining.
I
it
don't
was
know.
like-
I
I can't believe I wasted my life there.
I wouldn't call it waste. It's something that happens. I don't think you need to have movie high school excitement. I look back on this very many.
Yeah,
fond
no, I
nice
just remember dumb
memories,
shit.
Yeah.
but,
I don't remember. I don't remember like honestly. I don't remember like truly like
Anything.
truly fun times. I just remember like the more like that's fucking stupid or like oh my
Yeah.
god that's fucked up.
I remember
Wow, that's
really stupid stuff like
weird.
Curtis driving in the wrong lane, and I played the
Oh.
"How could this happen to
Yeah.
me?"
You photoshopping your computer science teacher
But,
and
like, I
him
don't know, I
finding
mean,
out about it.
Oh
That's
my
classic.
god! And I still have that
There's a-
photo. So
there's
shout
a
out to the
lot- I mean,
Raws.
This is a very not a very listener friendly thing if I just start talking about my favorite things that we did in high school.
I gotta ask:
Well, I mean,
Are high school
what?
the best 4 years of your life?
absolutely not.
Thank God.
I mean, I think in the media, high school gets overhyped as being like some big thing, like as like a pinnacle of life, because there's so many movies are about like say like adults and stuff trying to reclaim glory, and just high school is always viewed as like this thing like that's the ultimate be all end all of life or some shit, you know?
I wanna
No, it was just a bunch of fucking kids getting fucked up.
honestly
Yeah.
shout out grade 9 religion. I don't think any of you guys were in my class, but I don't know if I should name drop teacher, but
You just give a different name.
Initial.
Miss P.
What department?
She did history and religion. You know which teacher? Basketball
Okay,
coach.
yeah, okay, I know.
Literally first thing or thing she said in like end of grade 9, she's literally like, high school sucks. She's like, don't make it
There
your
you
best
go.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
Like
there's a lot
imagine
of things.
peaking in high school.
God.
Well, yeah, that's not what you
Imagine
want. There's a
peaking
lot
in
of
the
stuff
first
that I
quarter
look
of your
back
life.
very fondly. Like I'm a very nostalgic person, so I'll get nostalgic about something I did last week. It's
the
very
fuck?
shitty.
Yeah,
I don't
Curtis
like
gets
it, but-
nostalgic about eating out the whipped cream off his mocha latte.
Okay, you talk about that way more than I think about it.
Because that's all I
Well,
remember.
for listeners, we'll say
I-
sometimes or in previous eras when
I'll describe
I
it, Curtis, because
okay, you
I got
describe
this.
it, okay.
So we would go to the good old Tim Hortons when it was Canadian only.
Yes, sure.
Curtis would get a cafe mocha, which is a mocha with
Mhm.
whipped
And
cream.
at that time, I want to note I didn't have coffee at that time, and I didn't think cafe mocha was like coffee.
Yeah.
Little did you know.
So anyways, this
Little
man would
did I
order
know.
that and his sausage breakfast sandwich on an English muffin, and he'd sit down.
Yes.
And instead of taking the sandwich out of the bag like a normal human, he'd take the bag, shred it in half, and take his food out of it.
I still do
Yeah,
that.
because you're an animal. And then he takes his food out of the wrapper, starts eating it like a fucking animal. Then he takes the lid off this cafe mocha and just nosedives into the whipped cream and just like slurps it out. And this is sitting just in a group of people. This isn't like in his own like private area or anything. This is just a bunch of fucking people can see this happening, and he just nosedives into a whipped cream.
Well, I mean, like.
Did you ever get your tongue involved?
Well, yeah. I mean, how else did I?
Oh, I thought
'cause
you just
I
like
like-
slurped it like with your lips, like sucking it in.
No, he
And it-
dug in there and like ate the thing out of the cup.
Oh my
He-
god.
He ate out his
Jesus,
cup.
dude.
Okay, in retrospect,
He skipped
And
first
maybe
base
you
with
might
with
be-
that mocha and went
you
straight
might
past
be
it.
painting a bit of a dramatic picture, but in retrospect, I was like, I want to have this whipped cream
That
and
doesn't
shit.
make
Like,
it sound any better.
let's,
It's
He
like
went-
I
let's
want
have
it.
that.
I need it.
Curtis went
I
down.
gotta
I'd be-
have it.
Curtis went down
Well,
on his on his mocha.
sometimes when I walked to Tim's and I got a cafe mocha, like, by the time I got home, the whipped cream would melt, and when it melts, it tastes better. But sometimes when I was walking home, I'm like, I'll just.
You
have
didn't
the
tongue it
whipped
on your
cream.
walk home?
Curtis is
Oh my
walking
God.
home eating out a fucking mocha. You're fucking weird.
Yeah, I just kind of just kind of slurp.
Well, you just stand there, fucking tongue it all at once, and then you're done.
Wasn't
Then it's
like
just
that dramatic.
Well, I mean, do you really want to be the guy fucking slurping down a cafe mocha in the middle of the day,
In the middle
just
of
walking down the street,
day.
or would you rather have it done and just done, one and done?
If I one and done it, then I wouldn't be able to enjoy it as much.
Yeah, so what? You eat out the mocha and enjoy it more?
You want to be that guy walking down the
Do-
street?
Do you
fucking
whisper
eating out
to
his
it while you're
mocha?
doing
You
it too?
say-
You're like,
You
hey,
say
mocha.
that guy like there like every city, every place has that one guy who walks down the street slurping the cafe.
No, you're just the
mocha
one
with
guy in
cream.
the country.
Oh, okay. The one guy.
They hand out
I'm
cafe
really
mochas to
happy.
everyone's just sipping away, and Kurt's just like
Okay.
fucking destroying it.
Anyways, where are we going with this?
I don't remember. We were just
There's
talking
the
about how
goal.
we were just talking about how much of a freak Curtis was in high school slash
Yeah,
still
this,
is.
this is actually like the Bully Curtis podcast.
So
Oh, okay.
well, that
interesting.
would mean just every day is the Bully Curtis day. That's all we
Yeah.
do. We always just point out all the weird shit he does. Like how he
lot of
doesn't order a lot of food at dinner because he's gonna get too full and feel sick. But then he'll go to Dairy Queen after, get a Blizzard and a fucking burger.
Yeah, that happens every time.
And he's always standing there going, "Guys, should I get a burger? Should I?" It's like you're gonna feel sick. I know, but like I want a burger. Like
You're gonna
Mad
feel
on.
sick, I know.
I just say this when I go to a restaurant. In my head, I'm like, I'm so hungry right now. I want to get antojitos, and then I want to get my food.
Yeah, it
Like, I
doesn't
wanna
mean
get
you have
that
to
app.
eat it all.
Well,
You pace
you're
yourself.
correct. You're correct. I could just bring it home, or I could eat it slow. But I'm so hungry that as soon as I get it, I just fucking destroy it because I'm so hungry. And then, because of how fast I eat, get full extremely fast, and then I keep going, and I don't feel good. But
Why?
then
Though?
later,
It's like
here's the thing.
no one's trying to steal your food. You could
I know,
enjoy
but it's
it.
just like I'm
It's-
so, and I'm trying to do that more now. Now, like say like so, I've been getting now we got this whole Rona season thing going. I've been getting skip say only once a week. So when I get skip, I try to enjoy it more. I sit down and I eat my food very slowly. I try to just be like, let's enjoy this food. You know, like let's have a chill time.
imagine
Like-
having to
like ta-
focus on
ta-
eating slow.
Like that's fucked. Like normally I take like a bite to eat and then like I'd sit back, like I'd watch something, whatever. Like I'm just chewing,
Yeah.
just like I'm
I don't know.
I'm what the kids would call masticating.
Like,
Masturbating?
when I-
No, masticating.
When-
I think that's
masticating.
Masquerading.
When I eat, it's
Mas-
like when I eat like chips. My objective is I must destroy this entire. But it's not. I don't think that. That's just what happens.
and
I'm like
I don't
because
understand.
I put one chip in my mouth, and then before I'm done that one, I put another one in, and it's like a factory.
And I don't understand how you're not just like a fat fuck. Because like you literally just said your goal is to demolish the bag of chips.
Oh, not the bag
Oh.
of chips, a bowl of chips, a bowl. Because I don't
Okay.
actually eat that much. I don't eat like a shit ton. I just eat it really quickly.
Well, that makes more sense.
so it's
So-
like so you're not presented. You don't present yourself with food. So it's like when you see your food, it's like your natural instinct kicks in. It's like I'm starving. I gotta eat.
Oh yeah, especially when we go to restaurants and stuff. I'm hungry as fuck, and as soon as like when you're waiting for your food, you know, you just keep anticipating it, and then it shows up. That's always the nice moment at restaurants when you see them walk over with your food. There's that little hint of excitement that I get. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, but then you
baby.
take that
so
first
giddy.
bite. You take that
It's so
first
good.
bite and you savor it. It's like it's the best.
That's the
bite.
goal.
The best
That's the
bite out of
goal.
a meal is usually the first one.
That's true, and you know, I wish I can go back in time and have the Polish restaurant again. The greatest food I've ever eaten in my entire life is a local Polish restaurant we had that I discovered 3 months before
Mhm.
they closed, and now they're gone, and I mourn them every day. I
Uh,
wish I can go back in time and have that food again. I wish I can go back in time and really savor the food from Joe's Barbecue in Kansas City. There's so many things that I'm like, I wish I could have that again and actually enjoy it instead of
Shout out
demolishing
to
it
Joe's
like I did.
Barbecue.
Joe's Barbecue is an amazing barbecue chain. It's a chain, but the original one in Kansas City is in a gas station.
Are we getting
So
paid
it's
for
a
this?
gas station. No, but it's the greatest.
Just
they
like
have the
we're not
greatest
getting
ribs.
paid for a Raid Shadow Legend
Oh,
sponsorship.
no. I'm saying that at Joe's Barbecue in Kansas City, they have the greatest ribs I've ever eaten, and I've never had anything close or similar over here. You know, like I've never had anything that quite
Well,
matches. to
Just
that
remember
amazing
though.
Make
quality.
your own
I-
ribs then, man.
Yeah.
If it's so easy,
though,
then do it.
I didn't say it's easy.
Well, it's like no other place around here does it, so obviously it must be easy.
Curtis.
Well, I'm just saying. Obviously, it's Kansas. It's the South. The barbecue.
Oh,
is
so
the
they're
big
good at it
thing.
because they're from the south. I see.
Mhm.
How.
Well, it's more of a thing. Like you know, like
Barbecue
if
is
you-
better
if
in
you-
the South.
because it's more of like in their tradition and stuff like that. Barbecue.
Yeah.
You know.
What's their tradition, Curtis?
Barbecue?
And
It's-
And what? I don't know. Sweet Home Alabama? Like what? Like I don't know.
Bam, bam, bam. Hear a banjo off in the distance.
I just wanted to see where you'd go with it.
Actually, I want to
Yeah.
ask, when you were in Kansas, were there any banjo players?
There were no banjo
No.
players, but there was a guy playing saxophone on the street one night.
I
and
mean,
that was
that's
pretty
just not
cool.
as cool. That's just, wow. Some dude in Kansas
Oh.
playing smooth jazz on the street. Wow, whatever.
I'm just saying it was interesting. It certainly stood out to me, you know.
Yeah. Just remember, though, I brought you onto the good old Jimmy John's.
Yeah, Jimmy John's was awesome. I mean, like
I will argue.
you know, when it comes
Keep going.
when it comes to subs, like Subway is cheap, it's processed, all the meat tastes the same. It's not good. It's really not good. I get Subway often, but I don't actually like it. You know?
Yeah. Well, I get
But, like,
Mr.
Jimmy
Sub because
John's.
Mr. Sub's better.
And of course, we don't have the privilege of having Jimmy John's over here.
Yeah.
But when we had it in America, it was just so fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
because it actually like tasted like a real sandwich. you
Well,
know?
and their shit's still processed. It's just something about Jimmy John's.
oh
just
yeah,
something about him.
something. And they're so weird about their delivery. What was it again? If you're not like 5 minutes, 10 minutes away, they won't deliver to you.
Yeah.
Even if you're like directly outside the range, because they want it to be fresh. I think that's their PR excuse.
Okay, we were also
like,
in
you know.
Duluth, where it's like they'd have to cross like a fucking stupid little highway to get to where
Yeah,
we were
I
staying,
mean-
because we were staying in like the most
But-
inconvenient spot in the city.
Oh, it was very inconvenient, and it was so hard to get delivery that night that we got Papa John's eventually. I think.
Oh
That's what
man,
we got.
that meatball pizza. That was so
forgot
good.
you
It did not feel good
meatball
coming
pizza.
back up, but it was fucking
Oh, no.
good.
Papa John's is super good. Like I wish we had that.
Yeah,
here
hey,
because,
don't
like, every
don't tell
time-
that to Papa John himself though. He won't agree.
Oh, okay. I
Remember,
won't
he
tell
ate
them that,
40
but
pizzas.
When when we had it in Duluth, when I had it in Kansas, it was super good both times.
Yeah, no, Papa
Like,
John's is
it
good
was
pizza.
Oh, and they give you that pepper with
That
the pizza.
pepper.
That's crazy.
I don't
you guys
remember
had
that.
Jimmy
Like-
John's?
Well, no, now we're talking about Papa John's.
Oh. Have you guys already talked about Jimmy John's? Sorry, I
Yeah.
was away. Oh.
We talked about how good
Yeah.
it was.
Fucking America
Yo,
just
what's
has the
with, like,
best food.
What's with the places like with the names? Like there's Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, Papa John.
Yeah, really.
I've heard Jersey Mike's is good too, but I've never tried it.
But no, it's true. Like they all put like names. Even like I said, Joe's Barbecue.
Yeah.
They put like their names in it. Like they can't think of anything, or they're just so proud of it that they're like, I gotta put my name in this shit.
Five Guys is good too.
Oh man,
Oh,
I remember
fuck
one
yeah.
time we were in this. I was in St. Paul, Minnesota. Staying at a hotel.
You were
and
are
we-
you, sorry, I just want to say sorry, you were staying in low class Minneapolis?
Yeah, pretty much. There's a. I was there for Soundset, the music festival.
Yeah.
And we just picked St. Paul just because like it was a nice hotel, and I guess it wasn't booked, so we fucking stayed there. Anyway, so one night we decided to order pizza. It's like, oh fuck, what's even open? Like, and everyone's like pissed drunk at this point. Like, no one can really articulate. And then I think someone says Domino's, and then we're like, okay, fuck it, we'll get Domino's. So my friend, she orders the pizza, and she's like, man, I really want some like ranch dipping sauce. So she selects ranch, and like then like we get I don't exactly remember the pizza. It's kind of like some weird like meat pizza with like it's like a bunch of cheeses, a bunch of meats. It's like a weird variety. It's just like
Yeah.
whatever you'd order when you're drunk. So it orders, and like it's like, oh shit, this looks good. It smells good. We take a bite. It's like, this tastes weird. Where's the sauce? Turns out she selected the ranch sauce, as like the fucking
Oh.
instead of pizza sauce
Oh
on
my
the
God.
pizza. So it's like some fucking gross ass ranch shit instead
Oh,
of like
no.
marinara sauce.
I'd still
Oh
eat
my
that.
god.
Any pizza I've had, like that's why I don't like barbecue pizza. I don't like the barbecue sauce instead of sauce. Like I just like to have normal sauce on pizza.
So-
And that's it, you know.
I will argue with people a lot because I like Domino's. Well, here at least. I don't know about other places.
Yeah, Domino's in Canada.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of Domino's over like Pizza Hut. If I get Pizza Hut, I'm not a
find-
fan of their sauce. I'll get the
Pizza's terrible. Yeah.
well,
I
I'll get
agree.
chicken.
I don't like their sauce.
I personally only like to get local pizza places because I find the chains are disgusting. I think Domino's is shit, Pizza Hut's shit. I find the local pizza places, even if they're a little more expensive, will at least give you something that's less greasy. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
like
and
I don't mind like chain pizzas, but like I'd prefer local pizzas.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I just find they're higher quality. Like I said, like Pizza Hut's so fucking greasy and overpriced. Domino's is super greasy.
I kind of like Pizza Hut's greasy crust. It makes me feel disgusting after I eat it, but it's like it's
That's
pretty good.
true.
It
Like the last 2 times I had Pizza Hut, in my head I was like, I'm gonna just fuck myself up and get Pizza Hut. Like that was my mindset going in. It wasn't I'm gonna get a nice dinner. I was like,
It's like I want
"Let's fuck
something
me up."
greasy.
yeah,
So you get
exact-
Pizza Hut,
especially,
and it's
and you
like
get stuffed crust. Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
you
stuffed
don't
crust.
regret getting it as a greasy option, but you regret getting
Mhm.
something so greasy.
You regret that you stooped to the level that you wanted to fuck
Yeah.
yourself up with something greasy, but you're happy that it satisfied the itch.
Dude, like I love Pizza Hut breadsticks because like they use like the
They're
same kind of
good.
greasy crust.
Well, I was like, okay, so I worked at Pizza Hut for almost 2 years, and I was really disillusioned. This is so obvious. This would be obvious to anybody. I was so disillusioned when I realized, because I made dough at Pizza Hut, so that basically like I would go in
You're the dough boy.
before, yeah, the dough boy goes in before everybody else and makes the dough for the day, and then leaves. You leave when you're done after you make all the dough for the day. It was really a simple job, and I
Makes
treated it like
one
a speed run.
pizza, then you're
I
done.
treated it like a speed run. So most people would milk it to try to get the most money and everything and get your full hours. But I was like, as soon as I went in, I was like, I have to be done. Yesterday I was done at 11:30. Today I'm gonna be done. at
Man,
that
low
exact
key, that's
time
how
or
I'd
less.
be. Like, I'd want to be out of there. Get your shit
yeah,
done.
because that's like it was like it was a good job to have at that time, but it wasn't a good job to make money because I just wanted to get the fuck out.
Mhm.
and it's the
It
kinda
seems like a
job
good
where-
student job.
Oh, it's perfect for college, like on the weekend, and that was a good weekend job. So I mean, I go in, and I can go in at any time I wanted.
As long as the
basically,
dough
like-
got made.
Well, as long as it was like before, like say 8:30 or something, I can go in. I started going in at 5:30 in the morning
Oh my
Oh
God.
shit.
because I just wanted to get it done, and I wanted to go in and be by myself and listen to a podcast before like the manager showed up, like
Yeah.
a few hours later. So it'd be nice to just like, cause you got the key fob, you'd go in, no one's there, so I can just put a podcast on and just do my thing.
Beat
and it was
off in the pizza dough.
well, no.
He said,
There's
"Yeah."
so few jobs. There's so few jobs
Oh.
like that where you could just like you go in, you do your thing, and you leave. There's no dilly dallying. There's no trying to make more work for yourself. You just fucking do it, and then you're out of there.
That sounds chill as fuck, bro. Like just like
It was
going
yeah.
in when you want, as long as like
Just
it's before a certain time.
time.
But like,
Yeah,
it'd
but
be
yeah,
sick.
it could still be like I could go in at 6 today, or maybe 7. I'll sleep in a tiny bit or something.
yeah, like
it was a good
I
job
used
to have for then.
I used to work at the a bakery in Walmart, and like they're fucking super strict about your starting time. It's like,
Oh,
all right, you're scheduled at 5 a.m. You better be in there, buddy. You're 15 minutes late.
right.
Guess what? Better not happen again, or you're getting written up.
That's it.
That was
Like
the
that's fucking.
that was the same thing
corporate
with
life.
McDonald's.
I forgot the
So
one
fuck.
thing.
It's so shitty, but like I kind of understand at the same time.
I think it's made me more punctual as a person because I had to be when I got
Yeah,
manager,
makes
I had to
sense.
be there half hour early, and I mean closer
Yeah.
to the end of my time there, I was getting there like 10 minutes before my shift because they had
So-
screwed me over so much that I just stopped caring.
For me, every job I've had, I always made it so I would show up basically exactly on time or like only like 1 minute before. So like if I was too early leaving the house, I would drive around so I could show up at work at the exact time and not be early and have to do something I'm not getting paid for, you know?
Like
My-
if I showed up
so-
early, I'd just sit in my car on my phone. Like
Yeah.
I'd walk in like maybe like with like 5 minutes before my shift. Like by the time I walked up there, I'd swipe my badge in. I'd walk down and like my shift would be starting, kind of shit like that.
Yeah, something really convenient like that. And yeah, there were many close calls, and many times I was like 5 minutes late.
Wow.
But you know, it happens.
My
What I was trying to say, this was the main point I was trying to get to. When I worked at Pizza Hut, I was so disillusioned when I found out that the breadsticks were the normal dough. Like somehow in my head, I thought the breadsticks were like made, like they were like breadsticks.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
you-
it's
you
like
were thinking
literally
like
it's
Little
their
Caesars.
crust.
But yeah, then you instantly find out that no, it's the same dough. It's just in a square-shaped pan, and then
Yeah, it's
I
just
never-
like a square cut
Yeah.
up.
yeah,
Strips.
and I never really, actually, I never at all made pizzas at Pizza Hut. I just made the dough. But when they made it, they just had like the cutter thing. Yeah, press it down, put the little grease and shit on. So I was really just like, holy shit, okay. And then when it was like shocking to figure out, hey, the stuffed crust is just cheese sticks that are laid out around the perimeter of the pizza, and then the dough is pulled over them. You know. And on Pizza
you
Hut,
learn all these like little neat tricks.
You just get a bunch
yeah,
of cheese
and like
strings.
it's obvious, but it's not like you wouldn't question stuffed crust until you see it like how it's made.
Mhm.
But before, I would never think that it was cheese sticks. And now whenever I have it, it's obvious because the cheese is usually really hard and not melted.
Yeah, that's
like,
that's kind of
oh,
how I knew
there's
it
the cheese
was a
stick.
cheese rolled up in it because it.
Yeah. Like if
Yeah.
you ever want to make your own stuffed crust, just get some string cheese.
Yeah, buddy.
Rip it up to your desired girth, and then you just put it around the edge and roll it up.
Man,
That's
I'm getting my
exactly it.
string
Nice and
cheese
easy.
and ripping it to the picture it shows on the package, like the old Black Diamond cheese.
Oh,
string.
the
like
guy?
how it would show
The
you,
wacky
show you,
guy?
like, designs to make. Yeah,
I never.
They
I
always
like
had,
that
the
guy.
black-
I don't think
messed
I
up.
ever
They had-
made it right.
They had like the black silhouette,
Yeah.
and you could like peel it. To
I don't
that.
think I ever got it.
Really kind of gross when you think about it. They're just like, hey, play with your food.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how it's sold to
You
kids.
know. Well, yeah, it's fun. You have a little bit of fun. with it, for
Dunkaroos.
sure.
Like-
Okay, Dunkaroos are pretty interactive. Yeah.
They're bringing them back. Like their
Did-
Twitter, like it was like we're coming back or something.
Did you ever get the Dunkaroo that it was like a like it was a malfunction in the manufacturing that it put one of the cookies in the icing?
I've never had that.
It
Oh,
happened to me
what?
once. It was fucking disgusting. So like I went
Oh.
dunking through it, and all of a sudden I get to the end. It's like kind of solid, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I pushed through it, and it was just like a soggy cookie was in the bottom of it. It was
Gross.
fucking
Oh,
disgusting.
shit.
Did you eat it?
No, God no. I stopped eating that pack of Dunkaroos.
So
Oh.
you guys know on juice boxes when you flip up the edges, how they would have like the squares that were different colors.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like in elementary school, there's one girl was saying, she obviously was a lie, but I didn't realize that. She's like, yeah, my dad works at a juice box factory, and he says if it all lines up in a certain way, then you win like a lottery or whatever, and you send it in and win like $1 million. So I always flipped it up, like
Oh my
waiting for
God.
it to like line up, because I thought she was telling the truth. You know, when you're a kid, you don't really.
Yeah,
question
man,
it.
kids
It's like,
lied about
oh,
the
shit.
dumbest shit ever.
One of my old best friend, he told me,
Oh, old.
well, because I eventually stopped talking to the guy, like we just naturally drifted apart. But he told me like he would always tell me these great lies, and he would just make shit up. Like he was like, yeah, when we moved into this house, there was a dead guy in the garage. We had to call the cops. It was pretty crazy. And then he was like, when I was a little kid, I used to like swim in the toilet, and my mom would come in, and I'd just be swimming in the toilet.
Honestly, I would believe some kids do that because kids are just fucking stupid.
Yeah, but you can't swim in the toilet.
Yeah, but he
It's
in his mind he probably, like kid brains are very imagining, like they have very
Man,
crazy
yeah, that's
imaginations. He
true.
probably thought he was swimming in it, but he was really just chilling in a fucking toilet.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a friend I had growing up. He would always lie about like small shit, and like for some
Mhm.
reason he always did like weird shit to impress me. Like
Oh.
one time I went over to his house like 'cause we were just gonna hang out, right? He was playing NHL, and as soon as I show up, he started taking a bunch of penalties. He started playing super aggressively, and like he started like checking like players a lot.
Yeah.
And like his mom even kind of like called him out on it. It's like, why'd you change your game style?
His mom.
Yeah, like his mom kind of called him out on it.
And he turns and
Like he
And,
was just
like-
trying
beats
to
the
like.
shit out of his
and
mom.
Also, like, this kid would like he would lie to me about like stuff I literally did not give a shit about. Like this,
Yeah.
Because kids
he
want to
wrote
sound
down
cool.
he wrote down song lyrics to this one band who was pretty popular at the time. Said, "Yeah, my cousin's in this band,"
No.
and like he wrote down the lyrics with pencil on a lined piece of paper, and he showed me the lyrics. He didn't even show me the
Why?
song. He showed me the lyrics.
Like I thought that story would be like he wrote them down and would be like, look at these lyrics I wrote, but that's just really weird and like excessive. Like there's too many steps. To
Yeah,
get
it's like
there.
it's one thing to like lie about it and say like, yeah, my cousin's in this band, but like to like actually like write down the lyrics, like
Yeah, like what the fuck?
weird flex, but okay.
Are
Yeah.
kids that bad now? Those like, are they still that bad though?
This-
Because most of them fucking now just understand how the fucking internet works, so they'll
This
just go
was in
like,
grade 7, grade 8.
yeah.
around.
Oh.
So even then, like, literally
Yeah.
taking
Well,
any
I
piece
don't-
of information and going to Google wasn't like that.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Obviously, I don't know what kids.
I don't
do
know, it's still weird.
nowadays, but I think there's a natural spirit. Well, kids will always be like that
Yeah.
and be stupid like that.
But do you
know?
think it'll evolve into like kids are now fucking smart enough to use their phone, and then they'll be like, my cousin's in this band. And they'll go, okay, prove it to me. Like,
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
Because
what's your cousin's
think,
name?
Yeah.
I think when you're a kid, you kind of trust people more. You know, sometimes there's like little things like that. Like you won't question it. 'cause
My
you don't know
dad
as
works
much
at
about the world.
Microsoft. He'll ban you.
Exactly. Like you don't really question it because you're like, okay, that's probably right. Like you don't
Mhm.
really think like that's just a bunch of bullshit. What are you talking about? You know?
I don't know, man. Like kids are weird.
Yeah. That's definitely something like I would never want to. That's the thing. I would never want to go back to any age past like or before like 19. You know?
Dude,
Like,
imagine
if
being
I could theoretically go back.
yeah, but like imagine being a child psychologist and like
Oh fuck.
having to deal with all these kids just fucking like lying through their teeth to you, like just for no reason
Yeah.
other than like because like they don't know any better, just
Right.
just
Well, and-
because like that's kids don't really know.
that's where like there's the tells that people are lying though, like things that people do, and then most of the times they would just go like a lot of child psychologists are just like, oh yeah, cool.
Well,
But,
it's
like,
probably
also, like,
easier
sometimes,
with
like,
kids.
Kids aren't necessarily given like proper social interaction, so they don't really adapt on that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
So like they kind of grow up learn like not really necessarily learning proper social cues. Like that's kind of like with socially awkward kids too. They don't really know social cues. Doesn't mean like that they're lying. It's like no, they're just fucking awkward.
Yeah, because
Like how every socially awkward kid thinks a girl talking to them is like, oh my god, they like me.
XD so random.
Oh my god, she talked to me today. She must want my D.
Straight up. She
Straight
must,
up.
man. It's the law. It's the way it works.
She swiped right on me on Tinder. It means she
Yeah.
wants to marry me.
Dude, she made eye contact with me for 1 second. Obviously.
It's a given. You're in it to win it, buddy.
Yeah, it's the way of the road, bud. The way she goes. Okay, anyways, so something I kind of glossed over last week though, that I wanted to bring up. You were talking about the rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
In the first 5 seconds in the text crawl, it says a sinister voice echoes across the galaxy or something. Emperor Palpatine has returned. Do you want to know how they released that voice clip? It was through a Fortnite event.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I've already,
Yeah.
I've already
Um,
seen this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. So that bit of
Can I-
what sounds like throwaway dialogue was actually something.
It was
that
an
they-
event in Fortnite. I will
Oh my god.
Oh wait, you sent it
I'll
in
s-
Discord last night, didn't you?
I could send it in a
Oh, it's
chat.
right here. No, it's right here. I got it.
Okay.
Can I? Do you think I can play this?
Oh, good question.
I mean, it's from a game.
Yeah, fuck it. We're good.
I
Should
mean,
be
like,
alright.
what are our 2 viewers? Shout
It'll
out.
be fine.
Oh, this is like the longer one. Did you have to skip forward a bit?
Well, I was just kind of like, so Curtis can see this stuff.
Oh god.
For the audio listeners, this is just a Fortnite Star Wars event. You'd have to look it up for a better explanation on what it is. Yeah.
The work of generations is complete. The great error is corrected. The day of victory is at hand. The day of revenge. The day of the Sith.
What?
Yeah, that's really it.
So that quote is apparently big enough that
That's Star
They
Wars
had to-
canon.
oh
I'll
my
put it that way.
God. Oh fuck. As if it wasn't bad enough to have the stormtroopers say goals in the movie.
Oh, dude, they fucking they could have done everything so much better.
But this like having a line in Fortnite be canon, that doesn't even make sense. Like I wouldn't have even questioned it. Like I never even thought about that line in the text scroll.
Yeah, like
Crawl. Like I don't know why they had to make it like a thing to premiere in Fortnite. What the fuck?
so stupid,
that-
man.
So that means that the universe of Fortnite is
canon.
obviously in the
Yeah, it's in the Star Wars
yeah.
universe.
So it's just happening in like another galaxy or something.
Yeah. Galaxy far, far away.
I hate this. But also that means that Travis Scott is canon for Star Wars.
Yeah, it's same with sicko mode.
And
Marshmallow.
John Wick.
Marshmallow.
Oh, this is bad. I don't like this.
Everything is Fortnite canon. Or everything in Fortnite is Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
Official.
Oh shit.
That means John Wick is canon in Star Wars.
Yeah.
John Wick is my favorite Star Wars character.
You remember when all the Jedis were getting killed by clones? All the clones were just John Wick.
Oh shit! So
Oh.
they had other clones that they made.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
all the
Curtis.
clones were John Wick.
How do you feel about like the Han shot first situation?
Oh well, it's obviously Han that did it. I mean, it's
He
in
shot
the original
first?
movie. Yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
original movie. Yeah. Like I mean, because when you watch what they did, it's so disastrous. His stupid head tilt, and the idea of having to have him be heroic, like it's Han Solo. He's not like an ultimate
McClunky.
hero. Oh, fucking. I don't know why. Like, why did he add that? Like, they
What
already
does it even
changed
mean?
it. And it doesn't do anything to the scene. Like, it doesn't. Like, what the fuck?
McClunky.
But like, yeah, the idea of even having to change it just so he seems more like a hero, like
Some
in
guy like
self-defense,
fucking
it's
named
Han
George
Solo, like-
McClunky was like, "Hey George, I'll give you fucking $10 million if you put my last name somewhere in your movie."
yeah.
And George is like,
Oh, it's so
"Okay,
stupid.
sure, fuck it, right
We'll have
here,
an alien. We'll have an alien say it.
McClunky." I don't know. He's an alien. Aliens are weird.
Yeah, but no, God, that's just again. I mean, it's a famous edit, obviously, but it's just so stupid. Like all those edits, like it makes no sense. And why would you even do that? You know,
Mhm.
like out of all the things that could be edited in the world, like that, and to do it so sloppy. It's like, oh God.
It's kind of messed up that Disney doesn't let you watch the original Star Wars release without
be
any
nice.
edits.
Yeah, well, I know it's stupid. Like, for me, if I want to watch the original Star Wars, I got the old VHS tapes, and they do the trick. But I'll admit, I love to watch the VHS quality, but the original tapes are in letterbox, so you don't get a lot of picture, because you just get like a very
letterbox.
narrow,
Rip.
very narrow strip, basically, when you watch the old tapes. So you get the full entire picture, but you just get so much black,
Wait.
you know, with the lines and everything.
Yeah, if you watch the VHS versions, it's the original cuts.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's-
there's
that's how I
There's a
originally
few
watched
different
it.
kinds, but there's a blue box set that has the original artwork on all the tapes, and they're all together, and it's the original, and that's what you gotta watch
That's
because it's the best way to watch.
That
it.
was the first way I ever watched it because my dad had all the originals, like all the original VHSs,
yeah.
and he was like,
Well,
"Kid, you're watching this." I was like, "I have no fucking clue what this movie is, but okay."
VHSs.
That's the
Holy shit.
same thing happened for me, but I was 4. Like pretty much as soon as I can comprehend a movie, my dad was like, "Okay, you're gonna watch this
So
movie."
really, you couldn't
And, like,
comprehend a movie.
but well, no, I could, but I was 4 because I still fucking love the movie. Like the first time I
Yeah.
watched the
Puts
movie,
on the most violent movies
when
ever.
you're 4 years old, do you really comprehend a movie, or do you go, "Wow, that's a lot of shit going on"?
No, it's more like cool.
Yeah, that's him
a cool
comprehending it.
thing I
It's
just
like, wow,
saw.
that's a lot of shit going on.
Honestly,
Well,
the
yeah,
only thing
no,
I took from
okay,
Star
you
Wars is that they had
Okay,
cool
you don't understand
lightsabers.
themes. Like yeah, like when you're 4, like I said, when I watched Attack of the Clones when I was 5 turning 6, I was like, Jango Fett is the coolest fucking thing ever. Look at this guy, he looks so fucking cool.
Yeah, now you're
that's
an
what that's what I
elitist.
took away. That's what I took away from the movie is Jango Fett is so cool. I have to buy his figures. I have to be him for Halloween. I have to have a poster of him.
Now, what's your
You know,
opinion on Jango Fett?
He's cool. I mean, he's just a man. What was his line? He was just like, just trying to have his business, or fuck, I don't remember what his line was in the movie. He's a simple
That's fair.
man, just living his life. He was just living his life, you know. He's just doing his thing.
But what do you think about Darth Maul?
I think that he was an underutilized character that
God.
they could have done a lot more with.
Hell
Oh my
yeah.
god,
Like, you know,
bro.
Hell yeah!
Don't even get me started because you probably know where I'm going. I just need to say 3 words. The Clone Wars.
oh, there we go. The Clone Wars.
Just saying, they
It always
expand
comes
on it.
back. Yeah, on everything.
They
yeah.
expand on Dathomir and all that shit, like his race.
Whoa!
Like, turns out he has a brother and shit.
All right, you don't have to spoil something I'm probably not gonna
Well,
watch
like-
for another 10 years.
How would that be a spoiler?
It's
Spoiler alert, he has
literally a plot
brother.
point. It's like, hey, guess what? Like, these 2 guys from his same race are trained in like a similar thing,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
then I don't know where I'm going with this.
Are you trying to say Ben Solo is Han Solo's son?
Who?
Well,
Did you
You
just
mean
say
Kylo Ren, who
don't get-
carried the trilogy on his fucking back?
don't get too crazy with your theories here, Devin.
I'm sorry.
We're not speculating in here.
But for sure,
What a
he's Leia's son, right?
What a fucking waste of a trilogy that was, though. Oh my god.
Oh, an absolute waste. That's for sure.
Like, can we just retcon it, make it Legends?
Let's
Or
do
like,
it.
can we just rewrite it
Right.
even? Because like they had
They'll-
so many
they'll do it again.
promising ideas.
Can they please?
brand new episode 7.
No, episode 10. Luke wakes up from his fever dream.
Oh yeah.
Like, I kind of like the idea of Luke becoming disillusioned with the Jedi after his failed temple.
It's an interesting
Yeah,
idea.
I also like the idea of a stormtrooper like leaving the ranks, like with Finn.
yeah, it humanizes them more, and if because if it's an army full of humans, then it makes sense that some would
Yeah, like,
defect like that.
They just make
you know?
them like just faceless bad guys, just people to die.
Yeah.
Faceless
And
pew
so
pews.
that was one thing that they did pretty well is give a stormtrooper like an actual story instead of just being a suit that just gets destroyed, So stuff like that's interesting for sure. So there's a lot of good ideas, just not execution.
What a waste, man. Just
Mm-hmm.
so much potential just gone.
Yeah, but I
Ah.
thought before this episode ends, I wanted to get into pawn shop stories. So, I'll recount these on every episode where I remember a good story. But I worked at a pawn shop for a year and 4 months, so it was a very interesting job. You get a feel for a lot of interesting characters and a side of the world. I'll say that much. There's a whole variety.
What side of the world?
A different.
He's
side
saying
of the world.
poor people.
Well, there's a whole spectrum. There's a whole spectrum of people that come in the pawn shop. There's all kinds of different people having hard times or just crackheads. You never know what you're gonna get.
Hard times,
So-
just crackheads.
Well, that's what I said. There's a whole spectrum of people, so there's a lot of interesting experiences. So I'm gonna change names here. So we'll call this guy. We'll call what is okay? What's the
I
most
mean, okay,
Irish
wait,
name that you can
are
think
you
of?
changing like the person that you're talking, like someone, a coworker's name?
Well, Devin, give me
No.
the most Irish name you can think
Why
of.
me?
Just give me something.
No, because if it's just a fucking dude's name, just say like his first name. It doesn't really matter. It's not like you're name dropping
Okay,
anyone.
I guess I could. I guess I could. Do
Or
it. So
like
there's this-
even like if his name is like fucking I don't know.
Just say the dude's
John.
fucking
Just
name.
call him. His name is
Okay,
Jay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know why I even
Yeah.
thought about that. Because there's this guy. He's like, I don't know, maybe 50 something. An old Irish guy, Ed. So, and he was like, again, full on Irish guy. Quite a character. He'd come in with his wild hair and his amazing accent. You just wanted to hear this guy talk forever. But there's something wrong with him for sure. And he'd always bring in like brand new stuff. Obviously, probably stolen or something. But it would just kind of be like he would lowball himself. So he'd be like, I don't know, maybe you can give me like $4 when I could have easily given him like $20 or $15, But he would just give these really cheap prices, and I'm like, yeah, sure, man, let's do this deal. So, like he brought like a fucking 60s bayonet one time, and one time he brought a pitchfork, and usually it was like tools and stuff like that, but sometimes it was abstract. But one time he came in and he bought a fold-up bike for it was out for $300.
Yeah.
So he bought this bike, and he's all excited about it. So it's okay, he had some money finally. And then my coworker, my buddy, we'll call him Dave. So when he went home that day, he found the bike ditched on the side of the street.
Yeah.
Like it was like one of the handlebar things was off, and it was like in bad shape that Ed had just bought, and he was like, oh fuck, something might have happened. So he brought the bike home, and he's like, if we see him come in, we'll say something. So Ed didn't appear for, I don't know, like 3 weeks, and then he finally came back, and I was like, oh man, we found your bike, like what happened? And he was like, oh yeah, that was part of a spiritual journey. That's what he said. So according to him, he intentionally ditched the bike on the street for like, spiritual journey.
For dramatic effect.
And that's, yeah, and like that's as vague as he said it. Like he just said it like dead serious, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my
But
god.
then eventually, my buddy I worked with gave the bike back to him, and he gave him $50 for that. Ed gave the guy $50 for getting his bike back that he spent $300 on. It was just the most weird and confusing series of
Wait,
events.
did the guy just pocket $50?
Yeah, like he just literally he gave my buddy $50 because he was honest. Found the bike on the side of the road and gave him back the bike.
Well, I mean, you
Kinda
didn't have to
thing.
accept money. Could have just given it back to him for free.
But it's
Oh, he was very firm on like take this money kind of.
it's probably part of his
Ah.
spiritual journey.
It's probably part of his spiritual journey. And then
That's
yeah,
true.
one time he came in and it looked like he had like all his possessions in like a laundry basket or something like that. And then I never saw the guy again. So I hope he's still alive.
Fucking Ed.
That-
I
dude.
hope he didn't die.
That story, that reminds me of many interesting figures of downtown PA. Specifically, do you guys know of the street meat vendors?
Yeah.
I don't mean the hot dog stand guys.
Oh, then no.
Yeah, so there's guys usually on weekends, like at 2 a.m., sometimes later. They're called street meat, and they're pretty much just hot dog guys who sell sausages to drunk bar patrons, people leaving the club and whatnot. And there's other very interesting figures who also sell a type of meat, like not an innuendo. Innuendo? Is that the word?
Innuendo.
Innuendo.
Yeah.
Innuendo. They literally sell supermarket steaks, pork
Oh.
chops, beef.
Yeah, that'd be
What they
fucking
do-
dope.
Is they steal from the Safeway that's close to that town, like that side of town. And they'll they'll take a bunch of meat, and then they'll just put them in their trench coats or bags. So
Yeah.
they'll like literally walk walk around the streets, they'll be like, "Hey man, you want some like steaks? You want some
Oh.
pork chops? I'll give you a deal." And like they'll like literally like they'll open up their bag, they'll open their trench coat, and they'll pull up like a thing of steak or a thing of pork chop or whatever, and be like, "Yeah man, I'll give you this thing. It's priced at $16-20. $5, it's yours." So you get like some prime steak, prime rib steak, or some like fucking pork loin, like some high quality meat for like $5. It's like, seems kind of like a good deal if you ask me.
Fucking, I was really thinking you meant like they would cook it and sell it. Not they just
No,
give
they
you-
sold the raw meat in the packages.
That's the last fucking thing I want to buy though.
But like at
Like
the
2
same
in the
time, it's
morning?
like, but at 2 in the morning, you have these people who are pissed drunk, right?
Yeah, but who knows how
They're
many
leaving
needles...
the bar, and like at some of the time, it's like $5 for a steak. It's like, I have $5. I had 20 earlier. I bought 3 drinks. I have $5 left.
Yeah, but then
Fuck it.
then that
It would make
$5
for-
steak would then just probably end up on the side of the road somewhere because I would forget about it.
Yeah, I know, but like,
Yeah.
it obviously would, but like, they'd still get a funny story. It's like, yeah, man, I bought a steak for $5 from some guy on the street. And then what they do, they just chuck it, and then the seagull would get at it.
That's so fucking weird.
It's crazy, man. Downtown PA is insane. Another time I was down there, like, a dude asked me for some change, and like, I literally said, "Sorry, man, I don't have any cash on me. I only have cards." I literally turned around. Another dude asked me, "Hey, man, do you have any change?" And I said, like, "I'm sorry, man. I literally just said to the other dude, I don't have any change. I just have card." And he's like, "Ah, okay." And then they both, these two guys both walk off together. So it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, what's going on?
That's just fucking how it goes. Fucking
It's
where
the
she
worst,
goes.
man. And like one time I was at the liquor store on that side of town too. Just like, I've never been to the liquor store, so I'm like, you know what? Let's go there. Let's figure out what's going on there. So I went there. Inside it wasn't bad. They had a security guard, which is kind of like typical. I got my stuff. I was walking out. I see some guy like kind of across the parking lot. I make eye contact with him, and he starts walking towards me. I'm like, fuck. And I just start walking to my car really fast. And I get in my car. I start it. I don't even put on my seatbelt. I just drive away. Couldn't be asked, man.
Fucking wow, can't believe it. Maybe he just wanted to ask if you're having a nice day and then tell you have a nice day.
Yeah, I know, but like, do you really want to like deal with that in a parking lot, like out of a liquor store?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the liquor store then
Man,
tomorrow.
no, fuck that. I ain't going outside.
Like let's go to that specific liquor store then.
It closed. It's like almost closed by the time I get off work. Fuck that.
Sure,
Yeah, it closes at 6. I get off work at 5.
sure.
Fuck you. Man,
That's rude, man.
I just like enjoyment in my life. That's just stupid enjoyment. Like something that'll make me laugh and probably inconvenience everybody. Like I was looking up just like for whatever reason I was looking up like unique pets, and I saw like a macaw, like the bird. And it was like, yeah, they live for like, they can live a long fucking time. Like, I think it was like up to like 50 years or something like that. I could be wrong on that, but it was like, and you can like teach it like to talk and all that. And I was like, I would 100% teach it mannerisms, just stupid fucking mannerisms that I have. So then I die and leave like a bunch in people's names. So then they have to deal with this fucking bird that talks like me.
And then they can't deal with it, so they get rid of it, and then that family has to deal with
Yeah.
it.
Like they just have a bird that literally just like as soon as it sees them, it's just like, "Fuck you want, asshole."
Dude, my sense of humor's like gotten so dumb. Like, I laugh at the dumbest shit nowadays.
Oh, same.
Like like those stupid memes that are like beans.
No, I love that one.
There's
man.
there's one I saw. It was literally just like some video of just nothing. I don't even know what it was, and it just had the word. The top text was just Benedict, and there was no sound or anything. I was just staring at it, and I just couldn't stop laughing.
It's
And I
so
have no
stupid,
fucking
man.
clue. There's some good
Like,
memes I've been finding.
I mean, like good or just like
Well, good in the sense of I laughed for I don't know why.
yeah, like nowadays good memes are it's like I left.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, something I kind of wanted to mention. Have you guys seen the Cars trilogy?
no.
Oh no.
No? Okay. Well, if you guys watch it, I recommend watching the first one, and then skipping the second one, and then watching the third one. Don't watch the second one. Fuck Cars 2.
Whoa.
It's just so irrelevant. It's like it tries to be like an action adventure kind of shit. Like when the first one was kind of like a story about growth, like
Yeah.
home isn't like necessarily like where you're born or made. It's like kind of like where you kind of come from,
Man, Cars
like where
was
you
for me
identify
was
with.
Cars for me was Larry the Cable Guy. That was about it.
Yeah, straight up. But like pretty much Cars 2 just throws that out the fucking window. Turns out fucking Lightning McQueen's a fucking dick knob. And like it's just like a stupid fucking unrealistic plot with Mater. And then 3 kind of brings it back to its roots, kind of brings it back with like it's the last one of the trilogies. It came out the latest. It kind of plays off nostalgia, it seems like a lot. And it's pretty much talking about um don't don't necessarily like forget about your past.
Mm-hmm.
Like your past is still a part of you no matter what. Don't let your past glories kind of like define you in a way. Can't stop chewing a hot
Oh,
taste so good. What?
You're reading it. I was waiting until you were done, and I was gonna bring this up because I'm gonna pull it up on the
Sorry.
screen and everything.
Oh,
How do you
God.
feel about
Yeah,
these are the memes that I find. I guess
That's
for
pretty
audio,
disastrous.
it's a Nintendo Switch that's like destroyed and chewed up to shit, and the caption for it is "Can't stop chewing, tastes so good." And just something about that, I fucking read it and I couldn't stop laughing. That's just the shit I
I'm
see
a
now.
fan. I'm a fan of the type of meme I just sent.
I mean, I can't show that, but
Yeah, you can. It's a cat.
fuck up, I can't.
It's a cat.
I guess I could, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to risk it. I mean,
It's a cat.
it's a
What
cat
do you mean?
with kitty balls.
Yeah, cats have balls.
Um,
Dogs have balls.
not if you cut them
Elephants have
off.
balls. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously that cat didn't have his balls cut off. No?
Fucking.
You obviously, you know, if you know, you know, but obviously you don't know. So you don't know if you know.
Nah,
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Man,
Fucking
high school though.
Bring it on back to high school.
Yeah. Fucking Curtis, I think I heard you mention, but I kind of ignored it. But I'm bringing it back. So you mentioned like you wouldn't want to kind of like go back if you were given the opportunity to redo high school, like start over in grade 9. Would you?
Oh no way.
Like you wouldn't take different courses or anything.
No, because then you think about it. It sounds nice, like oh yeah, go back in time, do everything I wanted to do. But then there's so much shit that you have to go through, so much boring shit, just every day.
I mean, is
So
there
much,
though?
so much. Well, so much
Well,
stuff
like,
that you like
let-
gloss over.
Let's
and
say
forget
like
about,
you retained all your knowledge that you
From right
have
now,
right
yeah.
now.
Well, I mean, sure, I'd do it a lot better if I knew what I knew now. Then it'd be,
If I knew what I
be a
knew
lot
now,
better.
then fuck that. I wouldn't be doing it.
Well,
no,
I
I'm
mean,
saying
like
if I
that's
knew
the
what I knew
thing.
now,
Like you'd
then
be able
it'd
to
be better.
take,
Like,
you'd be able to like take the classes you want. Like say it's like, huh, maybe like instead of like this type of classes,
well,
like marketing classes, I want to
no,
take more
like,
science classes.
Yeah, but
I
like,
mean, it'd be better in many ways. Like, there was so many people like in high school that tried to be friends with me, or that I just kind of talked to, and there's so many like missed opportunities like that, missed friendships and everything like that, because I was like, I got my group of friends. That's it. Don't need anyone else. So there's a lot of mindset.
That's true. Who
that
needs
was
anyone
bad
else?
then.
and there's a lot of things
lot of
through high school
attitudes,
that I just
but-
don't care to deal with again.
I wouldn't want to go back and deal with that shit. I would just rather learn from it and do better on it now. But it's different because in a situation like that, that's more social. There's more people around and stuff like that. And then when you're not in something like that, like how do you use what you learned now? You know, when you're in a different kind of situation.
But I think like nowadays it's like if I were to go back, I just like wouldn't really care as much per se like about what people think. Like I'd be more
Yeah.
focused on like the actual work at school.
Oh yeah, like okay, you're coming at it from a different perspective. You're like, yeah, you're actually thinking about like school itself and
Yeah.
getting better grades. I've thought about that as well because like, I had to get my high school transcript recently, because for something I was considering applying to that I'm not going to now. But anyways, I looked at my grades and I was just like, oh fuck, I didn't realize that they were all disastrous because I never tried. When I tried, I did okay.
Mhm.
But I never tried because I just wanted to draw comics in high school because I drew my comics. That's it. That's all I did during every class. So all my marks were like the worst because I just did like the lowest, the least amount that I could possibly do without failing, kind of thing.
That's what I did through grade 12.
But that's why I think like if given the opportunity to go back, why it would be so much more beneficial. Like why it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, and I'd be so open to it
Well,
because
Because there were other
you
things.
look
Keep
and
going.
like you look back at it in hindsight, like now as like what how many years out of high school are we? 6 years now. Like we look back, realize like, fuck man, it doesn't really matter. What mattered kind of like were the choices we made with our schooling. So I feel like in a way it's like, fuck this social part of it. Let's focus more on the educational part.
Yeah, but if you could just go back and change things you did wrong, then life wouldn't be really worth living. Because if you could just live without
But then
consequence.
it would make it better. Because then we
Well,
could
I
live
mean,
life to the fullest.
Yeah, but
Completely.
living
There's-
life
yeah,
without
there's a lot of
consequences
things-
is kind of stupid.
There's a lot of things that I've regretted. From
Yeah,
my
but
past that sometimes I'll think about. But if I didn't regret it and I can go back and fix it, then I would never have learned the lesson. You know?
yeah,
Like, I
but
would've
like
never had that
what if
much
you
more
fuck up so
wisdom.
bad to the point where it's like it's irreparable? You know?
Then that sucks. That's just the path of life.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
don't
if
know.
you think about it, like I don't know. Let me try to think about it.
Let me put it this way. Like, I'm in a shitload of debt, and like, yeah, it would be cool not to be in a shitload of debt, but at the same time, I'm like, I put myself in this hole. Now I just gotta get myself out of it. The fuck was that?
Sorry, I was blowing my nose. I forgot to mute my mic.
Damn you.
Sorry, I'm a fucking asshole.
Yeah, no, it's like I mean, it would be nice to go back and make better decisions with my money, but at the same time, I'm like, whatever. Like,
But I mean, being given that ability to have that retrospective, like it gives you a more appreciative value on like the actual positives of it.
well, but the fact of like, what if I changed that path of it, and instead of having debt, I made a lot of money, then my spending habits in the future might have been a lot worse. Because I
Yeah,
had
but
more
I
money.
mean, if you think about it, if you made a lot of money out of high school, chances are you wouldn't revert back to before you made a lot of money. You'd revert back to before you spent all your money.
Honestly,
like-
I no, I don't think so. Personally, no.
Real, like, but like that's the thing. Like, if you were able to kind of go back in that time, you'd be given that knowledge, right?
Yeah, but it's like then I don't know. I guess like if you went back with that knowledge, then kind of, but I feel like this is it's
Well, then
it
what,
humbles you more
what would
having
you do?
to
Like,
live
you what
shittier, I guess.
you would, yeah, it would, because what you would go back and then do it better, and then you would live more and then make mistakes and then want to go back in time and do those better. Like, what kind of life would that
Because
be?
like it would also be like what I'd go back to my first relationship and try and make that work.
I think if you
But I
could
mean,
go
like,
back,
what
you,
if
you'd
at
try too hard to make it perfect.
But that's
And
the
you
thing. It's
probably
like
want to keep doing it
look at
again
it
and
if you look
again.
at it like that. It might be bad. It's like, what if you look at it? It's like there's different opportunities. There are better opportunities that I missed.
You have a long life to take up those opportunities. You can do anything.
But
at
like
any
But
age.
sometimes
I kind of see what you mean,
sometimes
'cause
those
a lot of
opportunities are
go.
literally
Yeah.
only like
Oh,
Like obviously, I'm
once
not
in a
going to become
lifetime,
a.
though.
I'm not going to become
disappear.
like a fucking professional sport. I'm not going to become a professional athlete. Like, I can't do that now. Couldn't really do that before, but
Not with that attitude.
yeah, well, you know, with a fucking repaired spine and everything.
Fucking pro, man.
No, I don't know. I just feel like life's got consequences. You got to deal with it. I really don't care about going back and fixing that shit. It's more about fixing
But I
it
mean, like,
now.
even if you weren't given the opportunity, you wouldn't take it.
No, because like now I'm
Really,
in
yeah. Like
this.
like you don't think about it like saying like I would fix it. You wouldn't just take different opportunities. You wouldn't say like, oh, like what if I took this type of class instead of this one?
No,
Kind of retrospective shit like that.
everything I've done, I feel like I'm, whatever. It-
Like I don't know. That's the part like I don't really like. I feel like there's still like always so much more.
Well, it's like if I could take the information of, I don't want to like bring it super down, but going through like a really rough breakup in grade 12 and then shit, I would not have learned things about myself, I guess.
That's true, yeah.
So it's like I wouldn't want to go back and change that shit. Like,
Yeah, because like again, if you like from every mistake you make in life, you learn stuff, and you get more wisdom. You know, like you figure things out more if you get a little introspective about
I'm
it.
also like less about money. Like as soon as my debts are paid off, I don't want anything like super huge.
Like my ideal salary is if I could live comfortably and like afford stuff that like I want to do. Like I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
want to do like anything expensive, but like I want to be able to like maybe
You-
go
you
out
have
and
the
eat every once in
freedom-
a while. Go like
the
out.
freedom to do stuff you want to do.
Yeah, like play some games if I want to, like
Mm-hmm.
order
Go on a
takeout,
trip.
kind of shit like
Yeah.
that.
If
Yeah.
if I wasn't in debt, $2,500 a month would be. I mean, after I'd saved up a bunch for like a house or something, $2,500 a month would probably be like sufficient.
Well, that my ultimate dream is just to live comfortably and have everything.
I'm
Like, yeah, not crazy. I don't have ambitions of I want this huge house or this or that. I just want something nice.
I mean,
I want what I'm living in. Like, I
it
don't
would
know,
be sick to
something
go into like
good.
a home theater, watch a movie, and then go to my like
Oh,
rooftop
sure.
$20,000 like home gym.
But that
and
wouldn't
shit like
make
that.
you. I don't think that make you feel good inside. That wouldn't really be a fulfillment.
Actually, I mean, if I had
inside.
a really sick home gym, I'd be pretty pumped.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and like I
mean, it
guess if you
depends,
like
depends,
earned it
yeah.
too, like if
Yeah.
you were, if
Yeah,
you made your
that's
wealth.
true.
Man, like
That's true.
you see Dan Bilzerian's rooftop gym.
I know I haven't.
Oh, it's so sick.
Well, that's the truth. There's a great difference between money you earned or money you just get. Because when you earn money, you actually, you're a little more careful
Yeah.
with it, and you think about it more. Because you're like, oh, I had to work for this. And you find when people don't have to work for the money, they're more willing to throw it around and waste it
Mhm.
and be stuck in their situation.
Well, and even like if I saved up like a few $100,000 like over the course of years, bought a house, put like a bunch of shit in it, like made it like a really expensive cost. After that, it's like then I have really nothing else I really care to buy.
Yeah, like that's kind of like why I'm like super iffy on the idea of inheritances.
Yeah.
Like if it's an object, like a vehicle, a house, sure, fine. But like a cash inheritance, I think I don't like that. Like I understand like maybe like giving enough to like be able to like financially support them for like
A
a
couple
year
years.
or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like me personally, I think like I'm probably gonna be like donate most of my wealth when I do die.
Fucking.
Just because like
You're telling me you're not gonna go out on your deathbed like railing lines of blow and shooting heroin?
yeah, no, I'll do that, but I'll have money saved up.
It's
I'll be responsible about it, you know?
yeah, $5 for the charity, $20,000 for hookers and blow.
Hell yeah, man. Still money to the charity, buddy. That's what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, like sure, I have like a few materialistic goals on shit, but other than that, like I don't really care. I want a nice house, like a half decent house, with like
Mhm.
like a working car that goes slightly fast.
Yeah, like a car that's not fast but quick. Like a car that could accelerate to the speed limit very fast.
Like my car.
But that's it. Like I don't care anything past like 130.
No, yeah,
Fuck that.
I'm not saying like
Yeah.
fucking race car shit, but I mean like a
Something
cool
quick.
car that
something with fast acceleration,
yeah,
right?
that even
Yeah.
like over the course of a few years I could like build with spare money.
Mhm. Well, I mean, you could do that with any car. Just buy like a $500
I'm
fucking
not buying a
piece of
$500
shit.
piece of shit.
A $500
just fix it up
piece
yourself.
of shit.
But
Okay. I think we gotta.
wait, you're
Curtis was
okay.
laughing about the $500 piece of shit.
well, no, I was what were we talking about before this? I had
I don't know,
another
but I think
topic.
we gotta start wrapping
Oh.
up.
Okay, one last story. I kind of remembered I wrote a note about street meat vendors, and it reminded me another story of downtown PA.
Okay. For
my-
those who don't know, it's just a district in our city.
Yeah, like our town used to be our city used to be two smaller towns that amalgamated like a couple decades ago to make one big city. And pretty much like we're referring to a specific side of the city when we refer to PA, downtown PA. But so my buddy and I, we haven't really gone at this point. Like we're both working our jobs at Walmart, and we both haven't really gone out to the bar in a while. We just kind of like hung out and like smoked a little bit, drank a little bit, just kind of hung out, played video games, nothing, kept it low key. And we got invited by two international students, like who were coming from abroad to study school. Like one of them was in engineering, one of them was in business, to go to the bar with them. And like we never interact with them outside of work ever. And then both these guys, they have super thick accents, and it's like one of them, like he speaks very quick, so he's hard to understand.
Yeah.
Like a couple times at work, like he'll say something, I'll be like, I'm sorry, what? He'll say it again. I'll be like, I'm sorry, what? He'll say it again, and I'll just like do the laugh and chuckle, ha 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 ha. But like he'll continue to look at me and smile. It turns out he asked me a fucking question. It's just that how bad I am with accents. So like, we ended up going out with them, and one of them ended up bringing their girlfriend. So there was 5 of us in total. We started off going to one bar. We were there for like a drink, and then we realized one of them wasn't drinking, and one of them was like one of them wasn't drinking and was gonna be the DD, but the DD wasn't the owner of the car. It was the person who was the other international student who was drinking, and the fifth person was the DD's girlfriend. So pretty much, if my buddy and I didn't go out, it was gonna be the DD, his girlfriend, and this other guy. And his girlfriend and this other guy would be drinking while the DD was just hanging out. So that would have been super awkward. So like the entire night, like we get to a bar, we start doing shots. Like we get like the weirdest shots. We get like fireball shots, Goldschlager. Like we're just trying to kind of like gross them out almost.
Yeah.
But it turns out they like anything spicy. Like they like cinnamon stuff. Turns out it's crazy. So like the night goes on, we're doing shots, all like a bunch of crazy stuff, obviously. And at one point of the night, we were walking back to the vehicle to finally go back, and I say like, hey, there's an open ladder, and we're able to climb up on some like roofs of like nearby businesses, and everyone's drunk, and everyone's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. The DD's like, turns out he's scared of heights, and he's like, I don't think it's a good idea, and he's kind of like nudge away from the entire idea, and like we're like, no, it's fine, it's completely cool, it's not even locked, so it's obviously fine that we're allowed to be up here.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make some bullshit excuse to get up there. So we climb up the ladder. I'm the first one up on the ladder. My buddy's next up, and then the first international student comes up. The girlfriend comes up, and then the DD's coming up very slowly, like one look at a time. Turns out he's scared of heights.
Yeah.
So he's going up the ladder. He's like kind of like looking at his hands. He's shaking like he's halfway up the ladder, and we're only climbing up maybe a story and a half. So like maybe what, like 15, 20 feet. And he's scared. He's shaking the entire time, and his girlfriend's like saying, "No, it's okay. Don't look down. It's fine. Just look at me." Like I'm kind of standing on this roof. I'm kind of like watching this entire situation. My one buddy, he's so drunk. He's like literally just standing there, not saying anything, and he's just staggering. He's just swaying. That's how drunk he is. Like he can't stand still. The other international student, he kind of stands on the edge of the roof. He sticks his hands out and he yells out, "I'm the king of the world!"
What the fuck?
And then I look back at the girlfriend and the DD, and then the girlfriend's still like, it's okay, you could come up. And in this entire time, I'm thinking like, is this real life? Like, what kind of situation have I gotten into? And so like eventually, like, I don't know how long we're up there. Like the entire night's a write off. We eventually climbed down, and then where the car was parked was near a parking garage, and we decided to go up to the top floor of the parking garage. My one buddy, like he's done at this point. He literally just sits down against the kind of like against a wall on the top floor of the parking garage, and literally like starts to fall asleep.
The fuck?
And the guy who's scared of heights, like he's like literally like standing 10 feet away from the ledge, because like he's actually that terrified of heights. Like he does not want to look. And the other guy was he was like just like looking over the edge, like just spitting, like trying to like make conversation with me, like, and again me the entire time. It's like, how did I end up in this situation? And then, oh my god, even the drive home was a fucking nightmare. Because the DD, since he isn't from our town, he has no idea where he's going. He doesn't know street names. You pretty much like have to say, it's like, okay, so in 2 streets coming up at that sign, you're gonna take a right, and then you're gonna go down this far. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll go that way. It was just a fucking nightmare. The entire time, my buddy, his head was in between his knees. I wasn't sure if he was like he had the spins or if he was gonna vomit. Good time. I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, those kind of nights, they're kind of like fucked in the moment, but afterwards they're like, I'd do it.
It's like, fuck, man, it was such a good time. 10 out of 10 would do again.
All right. After that,
Yeah, sorry if I kind of rambled.
no,
on
that's
there.
good.
No, it's all right. It's always good to have story time
Curtis
like
is
that.
cranky about it. He's like, what the fuck? I heard him.
Just
Cranky?
he's
What's
punching the air right now.
Yeah,
he's
he's
that angry.
Oh yeah. You guys can't see it, but I have my webcam on. I'm throwing punches
It's like,
everywhere. I'm
what the fuck?
smashing the coach.
I can't wait till we eventually all do videos, so then I can see Curtis punch in the air.
Yeah. So you can see when I'm not talking, I'm actually just
Yeah.
fuming.
You mean
I got
when
my
we,
mic muted
when we
and
turn this into
screaming.
all-in-one, like on location?
Yeah. When
Oh
we
yeah, content
when-
host.
when we
But
get big enough.
Devin's gonna go edit the audio, and he's gonna find the parts where I was quiet. I was actually just screaming,
Punching
and I was
the air.
yelling, "Shut
Like,
the fuck up, Mikey!"
Yeah, all
He
you hear
forgot to
very
mute his
That's the
quietly.
mic.
fucking point.
Yeah.
All you hear very quietly is, "What the fuck? God damn it!"
Yeah, like whispering in his mic, like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
Trouble the parking garage.
Straight up, yeah.
All right.
I get it.
All right.
Well, that's gonna be it for episode 5.
New record for length. An hour
Yeah.
52. Thank
My,
you for stopping by and watching the Boys Only cast. If you liked it, please give us a like and give us a subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify or what
Apple
else have we got?
Music.
5-star.
Apple
Our
Music.
Apple
Five-star review on
Podcast.
Apple.
Yeah, and
If you leave a 5-star review and I see that review, I'll be happy.
He'll punch
inside.
the air,
I'll punch.
but
the
he'll
air.
be happy.
if you
It'll be a happy punch. It'll be a victory punch.
if you leave a review or tweet at us anything, we will read it out. You can even leave it a
Just-
1-star and tell us that we suck. I will read it. I don't even care. But that's gonna be it.
Mhm.
Episodes every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah.
Thank you and have a good day.
Make sure you deglove tonight.
Oh fuck.
Bye.
Stopping now.
Bye.